It ain't about how you start, it's how you finish, right? That's what everybody says. But look at this wall, man. I mean, if somebody would have started it right, we wouldn't have this problem right now. So in my line of work, it's all about how you start as far as I can see it. I mean, right now we're looking at the rim joist. It's an engineered rim joist that's, it's all messed up, but there was sheathing in front of it. And now I'm showing you right now the sheathing. It goes up about, I don't know. The damage is about 9 inches high, right? But the sheathing is already gone. Now, I'm still going to have to replace this rim joist, because it's a disaster as well. But I thought, as it being an engineered rim joist, I thought it would completely be destroyed too, but it's literally like the top layer of it. So I'm going to take it off. Now, the sill plate is actually in good shape. It might look ugly, but I've said a million times, I said it in the last video, something can look ugly, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So the outside of it is dark just because it's been weathered for so long, but I was shocked that it's solid. The actual whole sill plate is solid, so I'm not gonna have to replace that, all right? So that's a beautiful thing. Right now, I'm just cutting up, because I need to cut up all the way, because the rim joist is around 12 inches, so I gotta cut all the way up so that I can pull out the entire rim joist all the way across. Do you know how ridiculous it is that all this has to be done? Not the whole deck, but this part of the house has to be done because somebody didn't put up a piece of tape. It could have been prevented with a piece of tape or a piece of plastic or something to keep the water off the wall. So I'm gonna show you a little closer look. Now, this is the rim joist right here. This is, like I said, it's an engineered rim joist. But what I wanted to show you is that it's not holding any weight, which makes it much easier on my end. So if you're wondering, well, why isn't he going to the basement and jacking that house up and supporting it, everything, it's not holding any weight. And the reason why it's not holding any weight, because the basement's finished. I just wanted y'all to hear that solid sill plate, just in case you were wondering. Like I said, I know the edge looks ugly, but the whole piece is, and it's like I think it's a 2x8 sill plate. They actually doubled up the rim joist in this location. So that's another whole rim joist in the back. And that just has some discoloring on it. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, since the basement is finished, I don't have to worry about support. Like, they already did my job of supporting everything. So now I can just pull the rim joist out because it's not actually holding up any weight. This is the other side, and it's the same thing. I'm just showing you a little close up. This actually is not as damaged at all. It's actually kind of solid still, but I would never leave that there. Now, as you can see, I got the rim joist already replaced on the right side of the screen. Now I'm taking the old rim joist out on the left side, and I'm gonna replace that. No point in, so you'll see how I do it. But it's really literally just taking that one out, getting everything cleaned up, lining everything back up. I'm looking right now to see where that was the dryer, where the dryer comes out. So I wanted to see make sure it was attached properly and everything. And then I'm gonna put it a little higher than it was before. Already marked out all the locations where I have to nail it. So that's it. Cut the hole for the vent and now put it in place and nail it in. And you know what's crazy? I've had this nailer for years. It was a Husky and it decided to start tripping. You know what I mean? It wasn't pushing the nails in no matter what I did. I couldn't get it to get the nails in, and air started shooting out the back and it had all kind of issues. So you'll see this is gonna change over. All right, I had to go out and get the Milwaukee, and this is not an endorsement of the Milwaukee, but I got to give it to them. They're battery powered nailers. I mean, who's messing with them right now? Now you see me putting the sheathing up on top of all the rim joists, and then after that, all I got to do is roll out the flashing tape. So but it took a little while, and this is, like I said, I'm showing you on one portion of the house. I had to do it all the way across. Now I'm cutting a little notch at the bottom. Everybody doesn't do this. I do. I just cut a little notch so when I wrap the chain around it to pull the posts out, that it has a little slot to hold on to, but it's really not necessary. And then this little configuration I saw, like I said, I pulled many posts out, but these posts, the way I did it, I actually saw somebody else on YouTube do it. And I said, you know what? A lot of times I'll use a jack or something like that, but I said, I'll try it in this one with the farmer's jack. And it actually worked out well. Now, of course, most of the posts that I pulled out, pulled out of the concrete that was in the ground, so I had to end up pulling the concrete out a little later. But hey, shout out to the guy who had this set up on his YouTube channel. I'm not sure who you are, but if you're somebody who sees this video, hey, show it to him and tell him a salute, because I had 12 posts to pull out because this deck was a mess. And now you see, now this one came out with the concrete, so it was a beautiful thing. Now, as you see, this is one of the reasons why in the last video I told you the deck sank. He put these posts in like fence posts. He just, just stuck them in the concrete, no base, no nothing. And if I wish I would have showed it. Yeah, you see the concrete around it, but then you see the wood sticking out the bottom of the concrete. So the whole deck had sank about 2 inches, man. It was just, it was crazy. But it's all part of what I'm saying, man. It's not how you finish. It's all about how you start in this game. And like I said, I started my business because I had so many problems with other contractors. Just, y'all know the guy. I can't see it from my house. All y'all know that guy. No, it ain't just me. I'm not the only person that knows him. And it was just time and time again of just having issues with other contractors. And 9 times out of 10, it would be that I would go to fix something. And when I started taking things apart, I had to do extra repairs that weren't planned because the last guy did it in such a terrible way. I mean, this deck right here, just look at that. I mean, you put the posts in a certain way, then you won't have it sink. Like, you can't put it in like a fence because fence posts don't hold weight. There's no axial load on a fence post, so you don't have to, which is a top load. So you don't have to worry about it bearing weight. But I mean, this is a deck. It's gonna be holding a whole lot of weight. And that's what happened. It ended up sinking, all because you didn't start correctly. They were actually lucky that the way the guy built the structure to hold up the lattice was one of the reasons why the whole deck didn't just collapse, because the outside of the deck, the perimeter was resting on all the wood that was made for the lattice. It's it's a shame. It's a shame, and it should, things should never be that way. But that's not what we're doing here. Y'all know this is Handyman 2.0. I spared y'all. You see in the back, I already did the flashing. I didn't want to do a video of rolling out tape, but that's essentially what it is. And now I'm digging the holes, man, for the new posts. All these posts, they gotta be 24 inches, at least 24 inches deep, really 18. You go 24 because the frost line is at 18. You go 24 just to give it a little extra, put a little bit of gravel in there. Now, of course, if you notice, I got to go a little bit on an angle. I go straight down with the auger, then I go a little bit on an angle and then kind of stand it up, because this thing has to be 12 inches wide and my auger is only an 8-inch auger. So that's how I get it to go a little wider to give me the extra 4 inches. And like I said, it was a lot of work. It was like, it's 18 of them I had to do like this. But that auger is everything. So hey, you see the big boy out here getting it in. So don't tell me you can't do this. I mean, I was doing this, man. It was so hot. It was a string of days where it was like 95 degrees outside every day. I had the fan pointed. You see me right there, got the fan pointed straight at me, because I was like, this is ridiculous. It was just so hot out there. And I normally work inside. I'm not an outside worker. I mean, like, it's just as far as the jobs that I do, most of them are indoors. So, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And by the way, not that you asked for it, we are going to have a conversation about my weight one of these days. It's just something that I want to talk about, but not because anybody asked about it. So that's going to be coming, whether you're interested or not. But here we go. Sonotube in place. Now I'm just dropping them in. Look at all that, man. It's 18 of them now. There was 12. I added 6 more posts because of the way that the deck is structured. There's going to be 4 beams going across, and even though you're going to see me put up a ledger board, that ledger board is not going to be connected in the end. So it's literally, I'm just putting it up so that I can get my height from my joist, and then I detach it. But This is how, I go ahead and level out all the tubes, and I don't push them down officially, like, really push them down until now when I'm leveling it, so I can get them down in there and get it to the right height. But like I said, if you do this, you level the tubes, right? Level it all makes your life so much easier. So I don't even know why, people don't take the extra steps to make sure they have things going properly. So think about it. I marked these holes out, right? I made sure all these holes were in a certain specific location. That I used a string line to make sure that all the holes were marked straight in a certain location. Then I dug the holes out, put the sonotubes in. I leveled the sonotubes so that when I put the concrete in, all I got to do is make sure that it's level across the top of the tube, and then it's level. Then the actual base is level. So then I go to put the post on top. Well, then the concrete base is as level as gonna get. Then I put the post cap on, then I put the post on, and then I don't have to work as hard to level those posts. Like, they're end up being pretty simple. Man, and let me tell you something. This thing took it was over 80 bags of concrete. I used a 60-pound because I ain't got nothing to prove. I ain't got a thing to prove to nobody. And I had to move all those bags of concrete myself. So now this part right here, some of y'all are saying it's probably not wet enough. It's actually pretty wet. It's probably about a 3-inch slump. I told y'all I had a million jobs. Well, that's something else I used to do materials testing. So y'all, I don't know if some of y'all ever watch Victory Outdoor Services, Ryan and them over there. And he's always talking about 5-inch slump, low air chert, microfiber, all that. He always says every video. Well, I've seen plenty of slump tests done and concrete cores broken and all that. So this was a high slump, concrete. So, I didn't put as much as they do, but also I ain't put any NCA into it either. An accelerator. I didn't put any of that into it. So you see me, I used the pink rebar because it's just so much easier to work with. Somebody like me, man, I wasn't carrying all that heavy rebar out there. So I set 3 pieces of rebar in each one to give it some more strength, and then I just pour the concrete in there and level it out to the best of my ability. Overfill a little bit, and then and this one, Home Depot, man. That mixer, I lost a whole day because of the mixer that they gave me had it had a short in the plug. I went and rented the thing, and I was still trying to use it. Y'all see, I'm soaking wet out here. I'm telling you, it was like 95 degrees out. It's crazy, but I didn't get the video when I smoothed out the other one, but you see me getting this one. Get it all smoothed out, put a nice little anchor bolt in, and I have I put these more so in the middle, this anchor bolt right here, but there was a method to my madness on where I put all the anchor bolts, and I'll show you that in a second. And please don't leave a comment telling me this is the wrong trowel. I know this is for tile. It's just not that serious. It's not that, it doesn't have to be, it's not a concrete like sidewalk or nothing like that. I want to make sure it's strong enough and make sure the anchor bolt's in the right spot. So you see what I'm doing now. I just put the string line down, and I have it go in 2 different directions. So you can see the way I put all these in the ground, so that it's a straight line. They don't all have to be right in the middle, but going in both directions. Now, it's not going all the way. The last row, it's not going all the way over there, but I didn't need to do that. But that's why I added 2 more posts in, just so I can line it up. Because since it's going to be a floating deck, I needed to be able to cross brace it. Now you see in the middle of the post base, I have those lines drawn. It just shows me right in the middle, so that when I put it down, I can line them all up. It's just one of those things that, like I keep saying, with each step, you do something that helps you at the next step. So I don't really have to worry about leveling these now. Like I said, I do when I bring the posts over, I level the posts out, but they don't really need much leveling because I've done so much already. that I know that they're going to be in a straight line. I know the bases are level, you know, everything going into when I finally go to put the posts up. Not that it's a cakewalk, but man, there's no struggle. I don't have to struggle with things because I just took the easy route in the beginning and just skipped a bunch of steps, you know, and now I got the potential to maybe have things off level and this whole deck fall apart. I don't know. But I'm not taking that risk. I don't do liability like that. You know what I mean? Now it's time for me to make my little helper. Now, since I work by myself 99% of the time, I need some help sometimes hold the string line or something like that. So what I do, like this one, I build this little contraption so it can hold the string line for me. And the way the base is, I mean, I can put it on angles. The ground doesn't have to be totally flat and it's not gonna fall over. So usually I put 2 screws on the side. You'll see me do that. I don't know if I do it later or not, but this thing works great because I can run a string line from the house to this little pole and level it, and then it holds itself up. So then I can go take the posts, put them in the base, and then mark my lines. Find out where the top of my joist needs to be cut, and then measure from there down to where the bottom of the joist is, where the joist is gonna sit. So this is necessary. So you see that? I run the string line from the house. And like I told you, those ledgers, you'll see that in a minute. I just put them there temporarily. But it's just to get my height of the joist. And you see right there. So it gives me my height of the joist. I measure down on the post to where the bottom of the joist is gonna be. And that's how I set to cut out my notch. And this makes sure it's level, that each one. So even though the ground is sloped, I don't know if you notice on this house, the ground is sloped 2 ways. It's sloped coming towards me, and then it's sloped going sideways. So this, I put this on here, like, I don't know, it's level, but it doesn't, honestly, it really doesn't mean anything, because once I put the joist there, I'm only using like 2 screws to hold these up, and it's just to get the height of the joist. They won't be bearing any weight, and the reason for that is because for me, and this is just personally, once I take out the rim joist, once I took out the engineered rim joist, then, you know, when they're put in, you know, you got to think about it. They're put in, you're toenailing them into the sill plate, and then when you put that floor on top, then they're getting nails in them from the top through the top of the, you know, the engineered rim joist. I just don't think it's strong enough to hold the weight of the deck anymore after that, no matter how I put it in. So I just personally like to go ahead and just make it a floating deck. So that's what I did. So the rim joist is not going to be bearing any of the weight. Now here we go with this post is notched out already. I got a bunch of posts already notched out. And that post was based off of the previous post, which I started from the one in the corner, post alpha. You know, that was the first one, and everyone is based off that height and leveled out. So, you know, by the time you get here, you know, they're all level. And like I said, I got my helper right there. 2 screws on the side. I pull the string line, get the string line level, and get my line for where my posts are gonna be cut. Well, no, actually in this case, it is the line for where the posts are gonna be cut. Just to make sure the posts are all level at the bottom. So if you take something away from this video, please, when you're doing work, just do it right the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you save yourself, you save everybody a whole lot of headache. Because remember, this was just supposed to be some deck stairs. That's what we started. We started with some deck stairs that were bad, and we had some soft spots on the deck, and it turned into a total tear down because there were just a few steps that somebody skipped a while back. Don't be one of those guys. You know what I mean? And if you're doing DIY, don't do it on your own project. I don't care if it is your house. Don't be the I can't see it from my house guy. We don't want that guy here. This is, I said, Handyman 2.0. It's the next level. So you see me now getting all the posts level. So you still got to get them level because they all don't sit the same. They're different. Even though they're 6x6s, they're still different sizes. So they all might not fit in the post base the same. So then you got to make sure you got it perfectly level. Then once you get it level, you know where that line is, where you need to cut it. You need to keep it the same direction. Everything needs to be the same. So once you mark your line, that's where you're cutting. You don't want to turn it around and cut the other side because then it's not going to be level no more. Cut that same side. Yeah, you know what another thing is? I have this hat on because it's burning up hot outside and I feel like the Flying Nun. Y'all remember the Flying Nun? It used to be a reruns when I was little, man, but that's what I feel like in this hat. But it did save my neck from 3rd-degree burns, man, because I'm trying to tell you, this had to be the hottest summer on record. I don't know, man. It was insane. But yep, I told y'all about this cart too, man. This Groundworks cart, I got this thing at Harbor Freight. I use this for everything. I use this for a table. So, you know, I have a bunch of tables out job sites. Some of these days we'll review some job site tables, but this thing is held up to my abuse. So, you know, hats off. But get all these post cut. Oh, and by the way, you know, I think they're doing something different with the way they're salt treating this wood now. So anytime you do all these cuts, like you cut these, you got to go behind and you have to put a solution on to make sure that it's still treated. So, but I don't do it with each one because it just, you know, to stop with each one and do it. So you probably see me not in this video, but the next video, I had to go all the posts and paint them with this solution so it seals it again. If you look in the bottom right corner of your screen, you will see that I've already started to construct the beams. The beams are gonna be 2x10s, this two 2x10 sandwiched together, and it's gonna be a strong day. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. What I want y'all to do is don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. You know, y'all remember the saying? You know, don't cheat yourself. Don't do something halfway and then have to pay for it later on, or whether it's yours or your customers. Like I said, don't be the I can't see it from my house guy, especially when it's your house, because that's just crazy. All right, so Daryl, also known as the Finisher. Part 3 will be coming soon. Y'all stay safe, be blessed, and remember, if the trades don't work, nothing else does.